In this episode, I want to ask, does being chronically and seriously unwell, or episodically unwell with something life-threatening in a way that comes and goes, does that level of being unwell make you a better person? Does it add something to you spiritually? Or is that sort of cotton wool fluff stories we tell ourselves about being ill that aren't really true? My personal story is that about 16, 17 years ago, when I was living in Oxford, I was a postgraduate student, I got sick with a couple of viruses. The viruses came and went, and I stayed sick. And I developed a condition called ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis. And while I got better, about 3 or 4 years later, for a while, I couldn't walk or talk or read or think or function in any way. I was physically but also cognitively debilitated. So I couldn't use my brain or my body. When I say I was better 3 or 4 years later, I didn't recover. I just got better and I could continue with my life part-time. In fact, that's what I have been doing since then. So that's my background. What's my personal answer, therefore, to this question? How did particularly these really difficult couple of years where I couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't read a sentence in a tabloid newspaper and comprehend it, how did that period of my life affect me in my spiritual development, in my maturation? When pain, and by pain I don't just mean pain, I mean any kind of bad symptom, but when pain comes at you, and comes at you every second of every day or many hours every day, you experience it as an external thing. You experience it as an assault on you. You experience it as something bad coming your way. You often experience it in very black and white ways, as though there were some things in the world that were just good or just bad, and pain coming at you is just a bad thing, and it's got nothing to do with you, and it's coming from outside, and it's bothering you, and it's taking you over, and I just want to push it away, and I don't want to have it, but it's coming at me, and I'm powerless to stop it. Or am I maybe not powerless to stop it? So should I be frustrated with myself about not being able to stop it? But no, it's not a psychological problem. It's just an illness in the body, so I can't stop it. So damn it, oh God, it's coming for me again. But now I'm actually less well than I was yesterday in dealing with it. So if I couldn't deal with it yesterday, how am I going to deal with it today? Oh, and it's going to come at me tomorrow, and the week after, and the month after, and the year after, and I need a break from this thing. Excuse me, heavens, can you ordain for me at least a 30-minute break from this hell that I am in? I need it. Can you give it to me? No. Now, I don't want for a moment to suggest that pain's a teacher, or that pain's a good thing, or that pain isn't real. Now, there are some traditions of spirituality that push you toward the thought that pain might not be real. And of course, when you are having a conversation about that with somebody who buys into this sort of view, what you got to tell them isn't that they don't understand pain. What you got to tell them is that they don't understand the difference between illusion and reality. But nevertheless, pain's something that we can explore. What's it mean that it's coming at me? How am I responding to it? What's it like? You know, at one point in my life, when I couldn't sit up or couldn't move my hands, I was suffering from a little bit of temporary paralysis as a result of ME, and I had to be fed through a spoon in bed. At that moment, I felt a certain kind of joy. Let me describe it to you. It's in fact the same joy that Beethoven had the capacity to feel, but because he's better than me, he could feel it before he ran into any health issue. He could feel it in his teenage period. And we know this by reading his scores, but that's a separate conversation. And what was that sense of joy about? Well, that sense of joy was about being in the world. It was about the sense that I'm here, and here are around me various kinds of objects. And isn't it amazing that I'm here and that they're there too? And these objects won't just be the street, the town, the countryside around the town, the planet. It'll be also objects beyond the planet. But we're not doing anything capital S spiritual here, if we're Beethoven. We're just saying, there is all of this around me and I'm in it. And one way, we don't want to bullshit ourselves, and Beethoven didn't bullshit himself, which is why he was so heartbroken when he began to experience his hearing loss and his health difficulties. But Beethoven said, look, one way of being immensely fulfilled is to participate in the world. And the lucky bastard, actually, despite all of his disabilities, he could, all the way through his life, keep on participating in the world in some very deep ways. But one way of being fulfilled is to participate in the world. But another way is to say, well, look, I can't participate in it because of XYZ things happening to me, things outside of my control, but I still know that the world is there. So one way of being connected to the world is actually just to recognize that you're in it, whether you can participate in it or not. That's plan B. Let's not bullshit ourselves. That's not as good as plan A, which is participation. But plan B is something, and it's important. And that's the Beethoven texture of joy that I felt temporarily when I was a little bit paralyzed. And what does this mean? It means that at that time, I wasn't experiencing my symptoms as a simple, uncomplicated object. In other words, yes, all of these terrible things were happening to me, but they weren't completely separable from joy. I couldn't simply tear them apart and say, boom, pain's here, joy here, conversation over, throw away the pain, please, and then I can stay with the joy. Yes, I would have wanted to throw away the pain. I would have wanted to throw away all of the symptoms. Naturally, they were a bad thing happening to me. But they were part of life. They weren't just something that came and in every way stopped my life, although that's true too. There was also a sense in which they are part of life. They're not quite part of life the way, I want life to be, but they were part of life. And so I was having an exploratory, a complex experience of pain that acknowledged how bad it was and that it was an evil, but that didn't just see it in a sort of black and white way, in a sort of way that you might, in an infantilized way, see an object as an entirely bad thing. You might distinguish between the good and the bad breast, and there's a purity of differentiation between the two and nothing in the middle, etc. So the pain that came at me was a thing to which I responded in a constructive way, not just in an evasive and negative or destructive way. I responded to it constructively. It was something I didn't want, but it was something that was complex. It was something that was part of my life. And part of who I am, part of my identity, was the way I responded to it. So it wasn't suffering that made as much sense as I would like my life experience to make, but it wasn't completely and utterly senseless. And for me, that question of whether it was senseless suffering or not was an open question with which I was constructively engaging, as I indeed was engaging with the symptoms themselves as they came. Do you have any equivalent experiences or any thoughts about equivalent experiences? Share them with me in the comments below. This has been a bit of a rant of an episode, and I'm recording it at a very early hour in the morning. But hopefully I managed to say over 50% of what I wanted. I look forward to reading about your experience and catching up with you on this channel soon.